Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for another edition of the Orns Friday Focus. Burnley versus Watford tomorrow at Turf Moor, 6 p.m. UK time. Massive match, as we all know. It will be bottom versus second from bottom in the Premier League. All eyes on Turf Moor tomorrow because it's going to be some kind of game. It's the former Watford manager Sean Dyche against the current Watford manager Roy Hodgson, and he has been with the club for just a few days now. I think it's enough time, though, even the first 8 or 9 days, to assess how these players are and where they are. We'll find out a lot more about these Watford players under Roy Hodgson starting tomorrow when they get on the pitch at Turf Moor in a game that had been previously postponed twice. And finally, on this third time around, we expect that this game will indeed go forward. Of course, because of COVID and because of injuries and because of a shortage of players, those are among the reasons why the first two games were postponed. This game that was supposed to be played in December of 2021 finally will get played in February of 2022. And again, a massive, massive game, of course. Burnley, who have acquired a striker since the postponement the second time around in their January transfer window, 6'6" striker from Europe. And for Watford, they have acquired Samuel Carlew, the latest of their four signings in the January transfer window, to add to the SKK group. They're now the SK3 group. And all four of them, I expect, will be playing tomorrow, most likely in the starting lineup. Remember that Emmanuel Dennis will not be playing this game tomorrow for Watford. He is suspended because of the 2 yellow cards that he picked up in the game against Norwich last time out. That seems like a century ago now that they played Norwich. And it will seem like 3 centuries ago if Watford were to pick up a win tomorrow. But Dennis will not be present at this game, which means that João Pedro is probably going to be played in a more centralized role, and expect either Carlu or Cucho Hernandez to start this game on one of the two wings. Josh King is going to be instrumental. He will have to be because, again, he has not scored for Watford since November. It is now February. Josh King must get going in this game for Watford to have any kind of chance. Burnley, well, you know what Burnley are going to do, and you know what they're capable of. They dirty up the game. They frustrate their opponents, and they stifle the opposition, and they've got good defensive discipline. One thing about Burnley that you know well is that they are going to defend with dogged discipline throughout, and they're going to try to make the game as unclean as possible in order to get at least a point, if not more, from the game. They did that against Arsenal their last time out at the Emirates. A very impressive defensive display to shut Arsenal out at home. That's a very difficult thing to do. But Burnley managed to do it. Burnley are that kind of team. If nothing else, they have the solid defensive fundamentals. And you wonder why Burnley are actually at the bottom of the table. They've actually kept clean sheets. They've kept at least 2 clean sheets this season. Make that 3 against West Ham at Turf Moor, against Arsenal away from home at the Emirates, as I just mentioned, and the game. I believe there's one other game where they may have kept a clean sheet as well, perhaps when they won. But the fact of the matter is, they have won just the one game this season, to the best of my knowledge, and they've kept somehow at least 2 clean sheets. That's 2 more clean sheets than Watford have kept. Watford, of course, remaining the only club in the first 4 divisions of English football yet to have a clean sheet. Some way or somehow, Watford will get a clean sheet this season. Will it be the game tomorrow against Burnley? Will that be a nil-nil draw? Or with Roy Hodgson's defensive capabilities and his strategies to make the game a stout defensive affair, you can guess that there will be every effort to keep the back door shut tomorrow at Turf Moor, even if it means that it's only going to be 1 point for Watford and Burnley in this one. But, both of these clubs need 3 points desperately. And I really don't know who is going to win this game. It is an anything game tomorrow. It's a complete toss up as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I would like to think that Watford will somehow get a win here. They've not had one since November. And you'd have to think that sooner or later, Watford are going to find a way through. But we'll see what happens. Will Roy Hodgson infuse that team, and will they get that new manager bounce? Time will tell in a big clash tomorrow. Who knows who will start? Who knows who will be on the bench? I have a feeling that Dan Gosling might get some action in this game one way or the other. And I also think that you can expect to see the SKK group, as I said, the SK3 group, as I said, and Ben Foster, I expect to start in goal for Watford. He by far is the better of the two goalkeepers who have featured for Watford in the Premier League this season. And again, I think that the central defensive pairing is going to be very important in this game as well. Samir is expected, I think, to be there, but who will be partnering him in that central defensive pairing? Well, we'll see about all of that starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. In fact, actually, an hour before that, when they release the lineups at 5 p.m. UK time. And of course, the game at 6 p.m. UK time in Burnley at Turf Moor, Burnley versus Watford. This has been the Orns Friday Focus.